Dale's already bummed about the fact that he has to hold my phone. He calls it the bag of Doritos phone. Anywho, today we are going to be showing you Boardslide hurricanes, which is a trick that I do a lot. I've gotten a lot of requests for it on my own channel, but I figured, well, I'll just do the tutorial on the Keen channel because we do a lot of tutorials here. So the secret to Boardslide to hurricanes is to understand that it is not a difficult trick. It is literally a board slide that you lean on different, you turn slightly, and then you're in hurricane. There's definitely a common misconception that you need rails to do this trick. You do not need rails. My girlfriend Haley definitely demonstrates that all the time. The difference is when you do a board slide hurricane with rails, there's like a little bit more of a delay before you lean back, whereas if you don't have rails, use the curvature of your board to lean up. So let me show you what I mean. So for boardslide hurricanes, if you have rails, you kind of use this little space between your rail and then the side of your deck to kind of teeter back on. So when you're board sliding, you literally just lean back like this, and then you have that little spot where you rest between your rail and your corner of your board. And then you literally just turn. Like it's not, you don't do this. When I used to think that boardslide hurricanes were board slide and then you lift up and then go into it, you don't. You board slide, you lean on your heels, and then you just turn it, and then you're in hurricane. So you're not even like really putting a lot of weight on the hurricane. You're not grinding a hurricane as if you 180'd into it. You're more or less doing a board slide where you're leaning far back and you're letting your truck kind of skim across the rail. Now, if you don't have deck rail, literally the same exact concept, except for with deck rails, there's like a threshold point where you lean back and then it finally pops back. But with a deck, you just use the curvature of your deck, and it's a little bit harder to lean back, but it's like the same thing. Like you lean on your heels, and then you bash into it. I think it might be a little bit harder to do without rails, but it's definitely the exact same concept, same exact thing. So if you can sit on a board slide comfortably, and you can go like this, you can board slide hurricane, because that's literally all it is. So I would definitely recommend having board slides down.
Damn, dude. This is going to be the new body varial.
Oh, board slide hurricanes?
Yeah.
It kind of already is. Dude, you board slide body varial to hurricane. That's the future. So if you can sit on a board slide for 6 feet comfortably, because you're going to want to be able to hold this trick, this trick's definitely something that you have in your repertoire that you can, it's definitely like a reachable trick for you.
It's going to be the new late flip.
Oh God, I hope not. Oh, delete this video. I hate late flips. I will never do a tutorial on that trick. Before you start doing the board slide hurricanes, maybe practice doing board slides and just lifting up on your heels and sort of board slide manualing the rail, just to get the feel of that lift up. So I'll do a couple of those and show you what those look like. We're having technical difficulties. So first it was blurry, and then I asked where we were where I left off, and then Dale said the hurricane-y thing, which didn't help at all, because this whole thing's a hurricane-y thing. And then that entire session of what I just went through didn't record at all. So
all right, hush, tell them what they need to know.
Let me tell you I just want to tell them how unprofessional my partner is. So as you could tell when I was doing the board slide and I was leaning on my heels, even though I didn't actually go to hurricane, you could tell that my truck already kind of wanted to bash into a hurricane. So taking that step from the board slide lift up to the board slide hurricane is not that big of a step at all. It kind of automatically already wants to do that. That was just an idea to get you comfortable. But to show how it would work on a board without rails, I'm gonna show you how to use the concave of your board. It's literally the same thing. You put pressure on your heels, you lift it up, and then you just try to manual your board slide across it. So when you first start learning it, I would recommend, don't go for the end of the rail and try to get into the board slide and go to hurricane right away. I recommend trying to get in the board slide at the beginning, get your balance, and then try to go to hurricane at the end. The other thing you need to know is when you're doing board slide hurricanes, where do you think you need to be on the rail? I think some people might think that you want to be over here because it gives you more leverage, but it's actually a lot harder to do from over there. And if you're way over here, well, that's not really gonna work. So I try to be kind of in the middle, but maybe slightly a little bit more towards the tail. Slightly, but in the middle is kind of like the best spot for it. And once you play with this concept, you can also kind of go to whaley, and there's all sorts of like little grinds you could go to once you learn those like teeter points.
Did you say whaley?
Yeah, you can do board side wheelies. I'm guilty.
Oh, I thought you said whaley. I was like, what is that?
Don't worry about it. That's a secret trick that I'll reveal in another video. So I'm gonna do a couple little board side hurricanes and talk about them. So I want you to pay a lot of attention to all the angles that I just showed you, because there's little subtle things that I'm not gonna be able to describe that well. It's gonna be really up to you to watch the video and see how my body weight is, to see how I'm kind of balancing back on my heels. But when you balance back on your heels, you do kind of lean over your toes. So you're sort of in this motion. I'm gonna do a couple boardside hurricanes without rails. If you know me, it's hilarious because I've been skating only rails for the past, geez, maybe like 4 or 5 years. Ever since someone let me borrow some rails, I was like, oh, I want these on my board all the time. And now I just ride them on my board all the time. So this might be a journey. Hopefully I can do it right away. I just did a board slide on it and it felt so insanely sticky. Also, this is a brand new board. Sorry, Dale, I messed up your graphic.
I'm so concerned.
I feel like you're upset with me, but it's okay.
I'm so concerned about
You're probably reverse recording this despite me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do some boardside hurricanes without rails on a board that feels extremely heavy because I ride hollow trucks evidently. And is this a flight deck? Ooh,
Yeah.
It is. Sticky. I'd also like to note that Dale's wheels are definitely bigger than mine, so I gotta lift up way higher. What size are these?
54s. They're like brand new too.
Yeah, I ride 51s. My wheels are old as dirt.
Wait, do you actually?
Yeah, I ride tiny wheels.
Why?
It's what I've always skated. I've been
Weird.
riding the same size forever. Yeah,
Weird.
52s at the most. 51s preferably.
Like brand new size 51s?
Yeah.
Weird.
Really?
Yeah. Damn, that one was really good.
Thank you. It's because I'm not riding rails. Rails make skateboarding harder. If you use rails, you're better than everyone else at skating. Now that I've done a bunch of them, it's been a lot easier for me to really figure out in my head the best way to explain this. So the tilt, when you're going like this, when you're going heel side, it's mostly this foot, your front foot, or if you're goofy, it's gonna be this foot. Regardless, it's your front foot that does most of the tilting, and then your other foot pushes it in. That hurt my shin. The other foot pushes it. This is hard on my hands. The other foot is the foot that pushes it in. This is the hardest thing I've ever filmed. Doing it with your hands is harder than doing it with your feet. This hand, AKA foot, is the one that pushes it in. Why is that so much harder with my hands?
I don't know, but
Anywho.
you don't need to push it in perfectly for the. They get it. I think they get it.
I don't know if they do. Hold on, redo. Pushes it in, nailed it. Okay, first try. Yeah, so this foot pushes it in, this foot leans back, and you physically don't lean back. I'm not like this at all. I'm very much over my toes, and I'm literally just going like this. Like,
I lay down like backwards when I do it.
you like lay on the rail and you go like this. You know, then you go. I thought I could like push my toes down and push it to hurricane. Yeah, I'm gonna sack this thing. Anywho, yeah, that's really all there is to it. It's literally like leaning on your heels and not trying to lift up like that. You literally just slide. You
See, I was thinking like
pivot.
this. I was thinking like this.
And if you can do that, you can master this trick.
All right, this is gonna be a separate video on my channel. Layback hurricane.
Your feet look so fake right now. Why is your tongue sticking out? Laying all the way back and laying all the way forward is not the key, evidently.
Hey, I'd just like to remind you that we're in our 30s.
Yeah, we are in our 30s. Skateboarding keeps you young. If you want to act like a moron into your 30s, definitely keep skating.
Oh no, it's cool. I got a skateboard.
Yes, once you learn how to tap the end of the rail with your hurricanes, personally, I think it's really, really sick when the second someone gets into the board slide, they immediately go to hurricane and then hurricane way further than they actually board slide.
Yeah, it's like a 5-0 switch crook when they do the switch crook longer in the 5-0.
When they do the switch crook a lot longer, absolutely. And what's cool about this version of the hurricane is when you ollie into a hurricane, you're pinching a wheelie grind, technically. Like, you're really hard over this toe. Like, all your body weight is here and you're holding that down. But when you do a board slide hurricane, you're literally just doing a board slide and your body weight is like on your heels the whole time. And you're just kind of skimming along. Like, you don't have to pinch anything. If you see footage of people doing board slide hurricanes close up on this truck usually isn't pinching. It's usually just like, just grazing the edge.
It's just there.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's just there making the grind sound. You might as well make the grind sound with your mouth.
No, make the sound.
With my mouth?
Yeah.
You like that?
So grinding now sounds like a
Cat.
Yeah.
In a fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna do a couple of board slides, and the second I get into it, I'll try to go to hurricane. I'm gonna try to get into the hurricane like immediately.
Oh, so you're just gonna do a hurricane?
Except for there's gonna be a board slide. Rails. It feels so much slicker now. That's so crazy. If you notice, there's no like real balancing. You don't see my upper body like trying to hold it like a board slide. Once your truck's on, it's not exactly like a cross lock, but it is like a lot of surface to be against the rail to help you hold it. So board slide hurricanes, I'm not saying you can hold them longer than you can hold board slides, but it doesn't really add that much to it. And once you do it, it's kind of a flashy trick. They look cool. Maybe it'll help you learn to ollie fully into your hurricanes. And there's once you understand the concept of going back on your heel and lifting up on your toes, it definitely opens up the door for a couple other tricks. So like I say in most of these videos, there's gonna be little subtle nuances with these tricks that I won't be able to go into the most detail explaining. I'm just showing you the fundamentals, and the best way to learn this trick is to play with it. I will tell you that the safest place to lean when you get onto the rail is be leaning to the side that you came from. It's the easiest spot to bail. It's the easiest way to stay safe while learning this trick. But you really shouldn't bother trying to figure this trick out if you can't board slide comfortably anyways. So make sure you're comfortable with that. Safe spot is the side that you came from. And this rail that we're doing it on is the Keen Ramps rail. It's the round bar. With this trick, round bar or square, honestly, I don't think it makes that big of a difference. Square is just as good to learn on. Round for this trick, I think. Yeah, I think it's about it. It's easier to hold a board slide on a square rail, and the lift up is pretty much the same thing. I do board slide hurricanes on square rails all the time. In fact, I learn them on square rails, but I prefer round rails for everything. Anyways, this rail and a square version of this exact rail is on our website at keenramps.com. We also have mini ramps and quarter pipes and unique obstacles like the transition ledge and wally ledges and manual pads and slappy ledges. Pretty much anything you can imagine that's a skate obstacle is on our website, and we will continue to do trick tip tutorials on the exact obstacles that you can purchase from our website. So until next time,